Hello, anyway, in this video I'm going to be covering something I keep hearing people talking about, which I don't believe is true. So I keep hearing this idea or theory that, the last update by Google was all about AI or Ali content, depending on what you call it. So let me give you some history into this system or spin content as well. So spinning words has existed for quite a long time. By quite a long time, it's existed for probably over 10 years. I don't know exactly when it's created, but just say for ours it was 10 years ago. When I first started doing sales sort of stuff around 10 years ago, it was common to use different software such as the Best Spinner, among others. The Best Spinner was basically the number one people used to use. I haven't used it in a while, but it wasn't really that good last time I used it. So what exactly does a spinner do? Well, it's like this. It will basically try and add in words which are different or unique to try and make your content more unique. For example, like this. So, how exactly will the software try and change it? It'll be like this. The BMW was a colorful sort of red color. It would basically just make it slightly different. It's basically the same sort of sentence or same sort of idea, but it's basically the same thing as a whole. That was basically the purpose of spinning, but in some cases it'll spin wrong. For example, let's just say our main word was van. So to try and make it unique, they'll be like van, 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 and so on. So keep basically adding in a word instead of making it unique. So you often get gibberish or rubbish. For example, the van was black coloured. Okay, so what exactly will a spinner do? Well, the spinner might do something like this. The vehicle, see, the van is now changed to vehicle, was dark. We'll use American firm spelling this time for color. That could make it shine some of the time the sun hit it. So that's a possibility. We could then argue now this thing looks a bit more unique, this thing's better quality wise. That's something we could then argue. Or this is in theory unique, if it was a real sentence or the rest of it. Okay. So let's talk about now into the Ali content. Well, Ali or AI, depending on what you call it, is basically a system which tries to automate, process, or weigh what we can do articles. This could mean we get a unique 100-word article, a unique 200, 300, 400, and so on. So let's just say it makes for us today a 500-word unique article. Let's just say it's about zucchini. Okay, so we got 500 words which cover some of the potential benefits of using honey over traditional or natural honey. So when we check its content, according to CopyScript or something else you want to use, CopyScript's not very good by the way, so I'd recommend you use something else. But just like use CopyScript for example purposes in this video, I'll do it. So anyway, so according to them, it's 50% unique. So what does that mean? Well, that means having that on an actual site would probably be a risky or bad idea. If we get another article made, another 500-word article, which then goes up to say 85% unique, we could then potentially, if we want to, put it onto a money site. But remember, like always, this is a risk. Everything you do sale-wise can go wrong or right any moment of time. So, if for example purchases, we use all complete and utter copy crap, like say 10%, unique each time, that means we could potentially have a issue with Google later on. We may be able to make money okay. For example, we might be able to do it okay with things like, say, for argument's sake, AdSense or something else, or Amazon. That could work well. But when Google does an update or checks our site, if that ever happens, we might then find we were ranking for, say, 3,000 keywords. Now we're ranking for 10 keywords. But only 10 are the ones which had unique content. I'm not disputing that copy content can work in some cases or spin AI. I just want you to be aware if this is what could potentially happen to you. So, in regards to what people are saying regarding, it's all down to AI, that's a problem. Well, to be honest, probably not. The reason why I say it, probably not, there has been sites ranking for years which have used purely copied content, spun content, AI or other software for certain styles to make content. Whether people like it or not, there is more copied content on the internet, in probably most cases, than there is unique. What do I mean by that? Well, it's a common practice by business to do this. Let's just say there's a 2,000 word article about something which is popular, just for argument's sake, say Johnny Depp. Okay, so there's a 2,000 article about Johnny Depp. So anyway, I'm a news reporter. I need something to do today, so I'll write a 3,000 word covering basically the same basic story. I'll just rewrite all the things every person put, then do a 2,000. Then someone else will be like, yes, this seems to be working well. Okay, I'll do a 3,000 words. So now I've copied this person, now I've got all that sort of stuff. The only thing I had to do was add in 500 words. So then someone else, say, copies all the other people, does exactly the same things again, copies that person. Then we go down to 4,000. That's been a common practice by businesses for years. This is newspapers. If a story goes viral or becomes popular, they'll often copy each other to then try and get maximum money or maximum sales of things. The same really goes in regarding to AI content in some cases. Some people copy and copy and copy. So then the content itself is basically all around the internet. Everyone knows the exact same information. The only difference is it's been wrote by a different person or by a different software. So that's something you should be aware of, that does happen. And most media companies, whether you're willing to admit it or not, will often copy each other's ideas. For example, if, say, 20 news reporters meet up today, one of them comes up with an idea about a really good story, it's fairly likely that other 19 people at the so-called meeting will steal the other person's idea, then do an article before them potentially. So then one of the 20 people will have the article completed before the original person that came up with the idea. That is something which is very common online, or businesses in general. If someone tells an idea which sounds really good, you will find people take notes, people like, yeah, I can do that too, I'll do that myself. Or I'll pay somebody to do it for me. And the same really goes with AI sort of stuff. People will often copy and copy and copy everything. For example, at the moment, the most popular one seems to be still Jasper. Okay, so what does this mean then? Everyone saying the SEO world is using Jasper. Let's just say everyone, for example, to make it simple. So 100% of all the SEOs in the world are just using Jasper for AI content. Okay, so what does that exactly mean? Well, this means the quality of information could potentially go down. It could also mean as well, then in theory, whoever makes the most content with it will win in those cases. For example, you do 100 articles, another person does 120, they outrank you, another person does 150, they outrank you, 300, they outrank you both, 1,000, they'll both outrank you, and so on. So you basically have the idea that more content equals basically, in some cases, more rankings. But you will also find as well, if Google finds out later on for some reason this stops them making money. For example, let's just say it turns out because people are using AI content, AdSense money's gone down by say 20%. So let's say it's gone down 20% since last year. Okay, so what exactly will Google probably do? Well, Google will probably do this. Google will then make a system so Jasper software doesn't work or it's not regarded as high quality. They might, for example, in a Google update of some kind or analytics, something like that, they might, with regards to your code, have a way that their code can potentially send details to your site. And I know it may seem a bit far-fetched, but you have to remember Google itself has some very intelligent men and women working at the company. A lot of these people working at the company are incredibly intelligent. For example, let's talk about the chairman of Google at the moment. This guy here, the Talmal guy, he is incredibly intelligent. Meaning, he is probably smarter than me, he's probably smarter than you, he's probably smarter than quite a lot of people around the world. Meaning, this person will be highly intelligent. Meaning, when they do updates, whether it's this person personally managing it or someone else doing the work, they can install things to allow them to see what's going on. This is why when people do what I call the whole copy everyone else or sheep approach to SEO building, you will often find this will happen to things. If everyone does this, sorry, I'm wrong, but sleepy. But anyway, so what exactly will happen in regards to this? Well, simply put, what will happen then will be this. Google might make a decision this is making him lose money, so they'll basically, for some way, stop Jasper working. It could happen, say, 6 months from now, it could happen a year or longer. It doesn't really matter when it happens, But because of this approach, that means everyone has got, say, content was made on, say, Jasper or something else. That might mean they go from making, say, for argument's sake, say $1,000 a month to $0 a month. Someone else might be on, say, $500. Now is on $200. That is something you should be aware of when it comes to things, because one of the things a lot of people don't realize when it comes to shortcuts, often COIs, the shortcuts themselves will often work short term, maybe a year if you're lucky, or 2 years, but in general they'll often stop working within a short period of time. Once they stop working, you might find this happens. You might find the person that created the idea or software might say, okay, look, I've got to reprogram this to make things work better, don't I? So if they reprogram it, they spend 6 months reprogramming it, and it's like, yeah, this seems to work again, so okay. They try that, it works for a few months again. Then Google does another update which stops it working again, so then they're back to square one. Then they have the decision to make. Will I keep trying to update it every few months to deal with Google, or I just say, look, I made my money, no, I'm going to quit, I'll go on something else. They'll probably quit, meaning your, if you like, weapon or magic bullet is basically gone. This is what a lot of people don't seem to realize when it comes to SEO. Shortcuts are great, sure, I don't dispute that, but you have to be aware when it comes to content or AI sort of things, or things which are people generally all do, you will find in most cases whoever does the most will win, or whoever's got the most budget, or these things will often only work short term. There's been lots of great ideas I've had in COIs which will only work for a month, or potentially 6 months or a year. Once they stop working, I can't keep using that, I've got to find something else that's going to work better. This is something I feel a lot of people who don't realize when it comes to SEO. When it comes to a good idea, the good idea might last a month, it might last a day, it might last a year or longer. It doesn't matter how long it lasts, but most ideas SEO-wise will only work short term. Because of that, we have to always be looking for ways to do things better, or how to upgrade or update in regards to Google's changes, which are always going on. Or if you're using Yandex, then updating to Yandex changes. Anyway, I hope this video helps you a bit about AI. So just make it simple, just in case you only watch the end of this. So, do I think that all AI sites are going to get a penalty or lose their rankings? The answer would be no. That is basically impossible for that to be true. Do I think AI can be done wrong? Yes, I do. Do I think everyone is AI is going to lose money? It's like everything, it all depends on each person. There's plenty of people who do AI sites or spin content sites which make good money. For example, I knew about someone before who used to make $20,000 AdSense money in regards to all his content being spun or being AI content, depending on what you want to call it. So it definitely can make you money if you do things right. But if you're going to be doing things right in regards to AI content, you really need a person to read it. This is the minimum you need. You need someone who's going to sit through, read all your AI content and say, does this make sense? Is this the right information? Is this wrong? That is what you will need a person to do it, either yourself or someone you pay. This person will need to read every AI content you create, so then you know the quality is good enough. Anyway, I hope this video helps you. Thanks.